Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Anatomy of a Movie News. No, we're not dissecting a film today. Today we're dissecting the top trends in movie news. Chloe, what do we have?
Well, first we have Paul Walker and his brothers. Yeah, so Paul Walker's brothers, Cody and Caleb, are going to jump in and help finish the Fast and the Furious 7. So a lot of times when movies are being made, after they film all the scenes, they have to go back and, you have to fix things or get some action shots that they didn't think they got. And Cody and Caleb are going to step in, which is really crazy. I don't think this has ever been done before. What do you guys think?
I mean, I've heard of people getting stand-ins, but
Yeah.
family stand-ins is a whole nother realm. And I saw a picture of the three of them together, and I really think that they're going to be able to pull it off. They all are about the same height. They all have that blonde hair. They look really good. And I think that it's sweet. I think it's a good effort. I think it really does bring that sense of family to the film. And I think that whether or not it's completely 100% believable is going to be interesting.
Well, remember the result in The Imagination of Dr. Parnassus? They had the three different actors play the same one, and I couldn't tell which one was which, and they kept fooling me. So maybe if they pull it off to that level.
And I think it's also the cinematography and how they're going to execute that. Because if it's for like over the shoulder shots and stuff for stand-in, that would work. If it's for far away shots, that might work. That might be believable because they all have the same physicality.
Yeah, and according to the movie's Facebook page, Paul had already done all of the dramatic scenes and most of the action scenes. So a lot of this will probably be the remaining action scenes, which will probably be fun. And I'm sure having the brothers on set made it feel like, a little piece of Paul was there.
I think in a way it would probably give them a little bit of closure just to feel closer to the brother. Like, this is what Paul Walker loved. This was his life. And this particular series had been around in his life for years. So I think that, for me, I think that that's really moving for them to be part of it.
Absolutely. And we only have, according to the Facebook page, a year until we will get to see this and see if we can tell which ones are the brothers and which ones are Paul. So the Fast and the Furious 7, sometime next year, we'll be able to check it out. The next big thing in news right now is the Cannes Film Festival, which will be May 14th through the 25th in Cannes, France, in the south of France. And,
I want to go.
Right?
So do I.
Send me. And this year, the early picks include Tommy Lee Jones's The Homesman and How to Train Your Dragon 2, which both are very different films, which will be very interesting to see how they match up against each other. Now, Tommy Lee Jones's is a frontier drama. It stars him. It stars Hilary Swank. Meryl Streep is in it as well. And Tommy Lee is directing it, which is very interesting. He hasn't directed anything since The Western in 2005. So it'll be great to see that premiere there. That's sort of a classic Cannes Film Festival pick.
As opposed to How to Train Your Dragon 2. I mean, when you think of that, you don't think that's premiering at a film festival.
Not at all.
But it's exciting, and I think, Marissa, you had a good point about the audience.
For How to Train Your Dragon 2, the storyline does take place in Europe and the European countries, so they have that European demographic already set. And if you think about it, the two films have two vastly different demographics. We have the older generation for the Tommy Lee Jones film, which seems more of a drama movie, and then we have the younger demographic for the How to Train Your Dragon. So it's covering everything.
Maybe, but then I feel like I exist on the outskirts because while I'm excited to see Tommy Jones's movie, it sounds like it has a great cast. It really sounds like it's going to be terrific. I can't help but smile when I hear How to Train Your Dragon 2 is coming out. I'm like, that's where I want to see that first and foremost. I loved the original. I think that it did target, obviously, the younger crowd, but it translated, and so many people liked it, and it was beautiful and fun to watch. So I think it's going to be...
I think it's great from two business perspectives. One, for the festival itself, because now you're drawing in people who might perhaps not otherwise go.
Absolutely.
And for the movie, you're getting, because there's a lot of critics there, you're getting a lot of film reviews right then and there for the movie that you can help promote when it comes out more wide range.
And also, How to Train Your Dragon, they already had a first movie, an original movie. And then, so people who love the first one are probably going to go see the second one. Mm-hmm. So it's bringing that crowd back again.
And now this next story, I know I'm personally excited for, and Chloe is too.
I am. My good friend Max Landis, his new film that he wrote, which is going to be directed by Project X director Nima Nourizadeh, And the movie is American Ultra. It started filming in New Orleans this week. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, and now Sharon Stone has joined the project, which is really exciting. Originally, Uma Thurman was going to play the Victoria Lassiter character, but now Sharon Stone is stepping in. And this film is one of a kind. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg.
Having seen Chronicle,
Right.
which is Max Landis's other movie, he's a revisionist.
Absolutely.
In some sense. And so knowing the plot of this movie, it's definitely a revisionist type of movie.
Yeah, so the plot basically is Jesse Eisenberg's character Mike is sort of like a stoner, and he's dating Phoebe, who's played by Kristen Stewart. And she kind of wants to break up with him at the beginning of the film because he really doesn't have anything together. You know, he works at a convenience store, and all of a sudden something happens. And he realizes that he is a lethal sleeper agent for the government.
This is crazy.
And that the government is actually trying to find all of these agents that they had previously put out there and sort of kill them to end this mission that didn't work out. And of course, all these crazy things ensue because he doesn't want to die. He's not willing to just let himself go. But it's great because he was a stoner, and all of a sudden he's this crazy secret agent who knows all these amazing moves. And it's awesome to watch the character figure it out himself, and be surprised that he can do all of these things. It's an amazing script, and it stars a really strong supporting cast as well. Topher Grace, Tony Hale, John Leguizamo, Bill Pullman, Walter Goggins. It's funny, it's action, and I'm really excited to see Kristen Stewart in this role.
I mean, it's chock full of names, and it's just beaming with talent. And then you add in this sleeper agent line. I'm really excited just because I feel like it already has me on my toes. Even before I'm getting into my seat, I'm like, what is going on here? It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it feels like a younger version of Born Supremacy in a way,
yeah.
but in a comedic twist as well. So, and then the cast, we have a lot of comedians, so I think it'll bring in that comedic demographic that loves that as well.
Now, this next story is a little controversial with the panel.
Yes, we're not all too thrilled about this. So there is apparently going to be, according to Jerry Bruckheimer, a Beverly Hills Cop sequel and a Top Gun sequel. Both will be starring their original actors, Eddie Murphy and Tom Cruise. But how do you guys feel about redoing such classic films?
Is it redoing or rebooting? Because those
or
films
sequeling.
are sequeling, because those films, I feel, back in the 80s, they really launched their careers, Eddie Murphy's and Tom Cruise. And then to go back to it, I guess it was that successful that they want to keep seeing that. But going from an 80s version to now modern day, I'm not sure how that transition is going to be.
Well, I think the big point of contention was when Indiana Jones and the fourth
Crystal
one, because no
Skull.
one even knows the title
The
anymore,
Crystal Skull
came out because now everyone was so excited for that movie and how it was going to fit in. Now they're fighting the Russians instead of Nazis, and it didn't get the fan reaction that they hoped for.
I think it's just really hard to re-envision these films because there's a certain style and tone to them, and they were fantastic for their time period, and it gives them this beauty about them. But now you're bringing them to today, and today's technologies have improved, our cameras have improved. It's a different style, and I think it's hard to mesh the original with the new version because you have to decide where you're going to compromise and what you're going to add. And so for me, I get nervous, and it's probably because I did look forward to the fourth Indiana Jones film, and then I was let down because some things are just so nice you don't want to revisit them because then it takes away from the original. So I'll see the trailer. I'll give it that much. I'll see the trailers, and hopefully it'll woo me into going, but I'm very apprehensive.
Well, Beverly Hills Cop 2 will be a sequel. It'll be him starting in Beverly Hills and then going back to Detroit. But the Top Gun, they're going to try and do it with drones, with all the new technology that the military has. I think the Beverly Hills Cop 2 has me more from the description than the Top Gun right now. I think Top Gun, even with the old technology, is still really exciting, and you still find the thrill and the joy in the film. And so I'm not too sure about that. But Brett Ratner is set to direct Beverly Hills Cop 2, which I think would be great, and I think he could really pull it off. Looking back at Rush Hour and all the other great films he's done. But we'll see about the rest of it.
So, in other big movie news, Sarah, give us a recap of the MTV Movie Awards this past weekend.
All right. So for those of you who missed it, we're going to touch on some of the big takers. Of course, who would have guessed it? Catching Fire, walking away with Movie of the Year. Also, Jennifer Lawrence taking Best Female Performance and Josh Hutcherson taking Best Male Performance. So I feel like, Catching Fire kind of used its crowd support and its crazy fans to take the big ones away. But I think that they were well deserved because I thought it was a fun and exciting version of Mockingjay.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw this with the Twilight Saga. Young adult fiction is bringing it to these movie awards, and they're like taking over, which I'm not too upset about. It's kind of cool.
I'm happy we went to Catching Fire rather than Divergent, which just came out more recently, so I feel that would have more recognition right now. But Catching Fire has had an awesome following for the past couple years now, so I'm glad that they took it.
Yeah, I think that we've all said that as much as a teen film Catching Fire is, it also has some very good, more critical elements, more dramatic elements, the filming style. And so I was happy with Jennifer taking away Best Performance, although I will point out that Shailene Woodley did get Best Female Character, I believe, for Divergent for playing Triss. So she was mentioned, she just didn't really walk away with the big one.
Well, we obviously love Jennifer Lawrence. She has X-Men coming out soon. She's just coming off of American Hustle. Last year she did Silver Lining Playbook, and she's got this. So she's hitting every demographic you can hit. I think she has a movie, 3 movies a year. That's insane.
She is a smart, beautiful, talented woman. I think that we just all have to respect her career because she relates to everyone. She can be nominated here and she can be nominated at the Oscars, and no one really questions why. And I think that it's because she brings a truth to these roles no matter the stakes. And so we did see this. We saw American Hustle, and we're going to be seeing a lot more from her.
Now, some of my more favorite awards: Best Kiss, Shirtless Performance.
That's your favorite?
Huh?
Okay, We're the Millers was a funny movie.
Hold on. I'm going to put it out that Phil just said that his best shirtless performance was great, right? Something like that. You liked that one? Zac Efron, shirtless?
I'm having that awkward moment right now.
And for those of you who want a little more taste of that, at the actual award show, his shirt was removed on stage,
yes,
so he got some more abs.
I don't mind that.
No, I've watched it many times. I will admit it.
So deserving win.
Yes.
All on that
Oh,
one.
sure.
Absolutely.
It was that awkward moment was a fun movie, I will say.
It was fun. It's a perfect MTV movie.
So
I'm
is
not
We're
surprised.
the Millers. I feel like
Yeah.
that one's a little bit underrated too.
For sure. And I love that 3 people won for Best Kiss. I think that's amazing. Usually it's a couple.
And normally it's like the Hollywood sweetheart.
Totally. And I love that it was 3 people.
Also changing it up in the awards category of best villain. I think generally when we think of villains, it's often that domineering mastermind male. And this year,
Usually like a superhero or something, a supervillain.
exactly. And this year it turned out to be Mila Kunis who played Theodora in The Wicked Witch on The Oz, the Great and Powerful. And so I like that she's taking those darker roles.
Yeah.
I mean, after she did Black Swan, she can definitely play on that dark edge. So she also made a little turn for the award shows.
And also the thing about Theodora's character in the movie, you saw the vulnerability side to her character as well. Where most villains, we just see them just being purely evil. So to have a character that was really layered as a villain, I thought it was great that she took that.
Again, it's the MTV Movie Awards, but Theodora, for me, it's just kind of a comedic villain versus a pure villain. And so, but again, it's the MTV Movie Awards, so I'm willing to let it slide.
I mean, I think what makes a great villain is sort of what Marissa is saying, is that you almost want to root for the villain. And that's what makes a great villain in a film, because if the audience is sitting there and they're like, well, I don't hate them. You're like, I can kind of relate. But then you gotta be like, no, they're the bad guy. They're doing bad things. That's a great villain, is someone who can really have the audience connect with them, but then do bad things. So then the audience again is like, oh, dang it, you tricked me.
It's they woo them to their side.
Yeah.
And you find yourself on the wrong alliance.
Absolutely.
Also, I want to touch on comedy. Best comedic performance went to Jonah Hill for The Wolf of Wall Street. Another person whose making appearance at both the MTV Awards and the Oscars. How are we feeling about this today?
I
think
love
it's
it.
cool, yeah.
People give him so much flack for basically, oh, he only whipped out his penis in the movie. No, that's not all he did.
He did have fake teeth too, Phil.
That's right.
No, I think he's great. I think Jonah Hill's a great actor, and I think it's cool that both him and Jennifer Lawrence can sort of transcend MTV Movie Awards, the Oscars. It's really cool, and he is talented, and he was totally able to hold his own game up there with the big hitters like Leo. Like, his performance did not slack at all. It was great. And so for MTV, the MTV Movie Awards to pick up an Oscar film like that is really cool.
And they did the same thing with our next award, which was Best On-Screen Transformation. And it's Jared Leto from Dallas Buyers Club. And that's the one that really got me, that I was like, good job, MTV Movie Awards, bringing in something that's dirty and such a hard, dramatic role to play. Jared Leto did amazing. And I just want to hand it out as a recognition that they saw that there's a great performance in a very messy topic.
Totally.
I absolutely agree. And, especially with the MTV Movie Awards kind of skewing younger, for the kids that don't know where they fit into this world, whether they're transgender or gay, lesbian, bi, whatever, it's, again, his character isn't the most aspiring character to want to be, but again, it at least opens up the conversation, and it also opens up the conversation about, STDs and things of that nature for kids.
And just Jared Leto as a person outside of this role, the attention that he's been bringing to it, where I know that one of his options for his Oscar outfit was going to be cross-dressing in his character, and I think that his relationship to this role has exceeded beyond the bounds of making this film and has really influenced his life and influenced his efforts outside in the community.
And I think it's great that the younger demographic is recognizing transformation within actors, because usually I find it that it's the adult generation that tends to really recognize the transformation. But for the young adults to recognize that is saying a lot for him as a person and a character and as an actor.
And all right, so bringing it back to the first story, the best on-screen duo.
I mean, we've got to give some more shout outs to Paul Walker, who won this category with Vin Diesel for Fast and the Furious 6. And it just shows that this is a series that's lasted and created a family, which is why they can pull off bringing his brothers in. And people are still honoring him and still seeing that bond that they created on film.
And if you think about it, this duo has been around since 2000, since the very first Fast and Furious film. So it's been around for a long time now. And then the fact that the fans still love it is great.
Yeah, and it's really cool because I actually, when I think of Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, I think they're actually friends.
Completely.
You know, and even a lot of times that doesn't happen. A lot of times movie magic really makes it seem like it. But, these two, you really saw their friendship. And it's just cool that they get to win something together.
And their chemistry grew with the films. It wasn't, you could tell that their friendship was always just growing. And I think that's why they were honored this year. Finally, let's talk about MTV Generation Award going to Mark Wahlberg.
Mikey Mike.
I mean, he's again another one of those people that can kind of transcend wherever he is. He's doing Ted, and then he's doing movies like The Other Guy, and then he's in serious roles.
Yeah,
like
and
The Departed.
Absolutely, and producing television. I mean, he's all over the map, and it's really cool. And he had a rap career for a real quick second, which MTV can totally jump on, and I love it. And so I just think it's great that Mark Wahlberg can pick up an MTV Generation Award at his age, and that's awesome.
He's a very versatile actor and showing his talents everywhere, and I'm glad that everyone's recognizing that.
Yeah. So that is all of our movie news for this week, brought to you by Schmoes Know, and you can check out more news on schmoesknow.com.